Hey everyone. This is my updated list for Griphogila in Cardfight Vanguard, the Overdress series. This is Supreme Dragon of Annihilation. Oh, wait, no, Supreme Dragon Tree of Annihilation Griphogila Vartex. This is the grade 11 upgrade to the original Griphogila. And of course, this is going to be the Dragon Empire-based version of the deck. Now, as Griphogila has no nation, he can be used in any nation you want. So it's really up to personal preference how you want to make the deck. However, this is going to be my Dragon Empire build for it. Of course, as this is a Griphogila deck, the Ride deck is a little different. Of course, we start off with the Griphogila starter, Griffo Seed. Its first effect is you can have a total of 5 cards in your Ride deck, made up of this card, 3 Calamity cards, and an Overtrigger. So, of course, and then its other effect is this unit gets 2k power for each Calamity card with a different name in its soul, and then its final effect. At the beginning of your main phase, choose a Calamity card from your Ride deck and put it into the soul. If you have 3 Calamity cards already in your soul and were put there that were in the Ride deck, put 3 Calamity cards from the soul that were in the Ride deck back into the Ride deck face up. Search your deck or hand for up to 1 Dragon Tree of Ecliptic Decimation Griphogila, ride it as stand. And if you searched your deck, shuffle the deck. And if you wrote a card, you can choose 2 of your rear guards and put Dragon Tree markers on each of them. So, of course, if you want to play Griphogila, you have to play this starter. Of course, the Calamity cards are Start of the End, Menalicious Metamorphosis, and Looming Demise. Of course, all of this kind of shows the story of Griphogila and all that. And their effects don't actually do anything. They're really vanillas. Even though they do have effects, you don't use those, as they can only be activated in the main deck. And really, those effects are nothing. And then, of course, the final card in the Ride deck is the Overtrigger that you activate on your Overtrigger turn. And, of course, the Dragon Empire Overtrigger effect is choose one of your Vanguards and stand it. And, of course, it also has all of the other Overtrigger effects. This is just the Dragon Empire one. Of course, we have the new boss for the deck, Griphogila Vartex. It has a lot of effects, so let's just go into it. When this unit is placed by riding, put a Griffo Eschatology token into your order zone. Now, the token they're talking about is this one. This is Griffo Eschatology. Its first effect is this represents a Griffo Eschatology token and cannot be put into the deck. Order zone, at the beginning of your main phase, you may search your deck for up to 1 trigger unit and put into the Ride deck face up and shuffle the deck. If you put a card, you choose a Hydrogum from your drop zone and you call it to a rearguard circle. Then its other effect is Order Zone. Discard a card with Griphogila in its card name from the hand. Draw a card and choose one of your rearguards and put a Dragon Tree marker on it. And then you put the top card of your deck into the damage zone face down. Choose a face-up Calamity card in your Ride deck and remove it from play. This helps escalate the win condition of the deck and can let you go to your Overtrigger turn early. Now, of course, that is what the token does, but Vartex has a whole bunch of effects of his own. Essentially, this is essentially additional effects for Vartex that they couldn't print on the card. During your turn, this gets an extra 10,000 power and a critical. Another effect is if the total number of Hydreigon and Dragon Tree markers on your rearguard circle is 10 or more, this gets another extra 10,000 power. This is active on your opponent's turn as well. So unless you find a way to get rid of all that stuff, you are going to have to deal with a 28,000 power monster essentially on your turn if you're going up against this guy. And then of course it has the standard Griphogila effect. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose a face-up Calamity card in your Ride deck and remove it. If you did not remove a card, you choose a trigger unit from your Ride deck, reveal it, activate all of its trigger effects and additional effects, and you stand all of your rearguards on rearguards with Dragon Tree markers. Now, of course, the original Griphogila could only activate an over trigger. However, this can activate any trigger in the Ride deck. And that is also part of Eschatologi's effect. It can place triggers in your Ride deck from the deck. So, for example, say you wanted to really go for a finishing turn after your over trigger turn maybe fails, you can place a front or a critical trigger into the Ride deck. Or, if you really want to be sure to heal up damage, you can put a heal trigger in. Of course, that only works when you attack, so you might want to put a card that has more offensive pressure into the Ride deck, like a critical or a front. And, well, that's that. That is it for Vartex. Of course, we have the base Griphogila, which you're going to be on for a little bit, but then you'll want to get to Vartex as fast as possible. Of course, during your turn, this unit gets an extra 5,000 power for each Dragon Tree marker on your rearguard circle. If you have 3 or more rearguard circles, it also gets a critical, and then it has the same final effect of Vartex. However, it can only trigger an over trigger. That is it for Vartex. Of course, since this is the Dragon Empire version of the deck, we have Verena Esperidia. Of course, we won't be using its Overdress effects. We're just going to be using the final effect. When your Vanguard attacks, you Soul Blast 1 and stand this unit, and it gets 5,000 power for each of this unit's original dress. The original dress effect we don't use, as it is going to be on the field by itself. So, really, we're only going to be using the first half of the final effect. And, well, this is why the Dragon Empire version of Griphogila is so good, because we have this guy to use. We have 2 copies of Mask of Hydreigon. You look at the top 5 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 unit card with Dragon Tree or Mask in its name from among them, and reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle the deck. This can, of course, let you get any of the Griphogilas, any of your Dragon Tree Wretches, and yeah, pretty much. You can search quite a few cards, and it essentially acts as 2 extra copies for all of your Dragon Tree stuff. This is the Dragon Empire version of Skullkemda. This is Ragun Kimrud. Of course, as I said, this is the Dragon Empire version of Skullkemda, and that effect is when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose up to 1 of your rearguard circles with without a Dragon Tree marker, and put a Dragon Tree marker on it, and then you search your deck for up to 1 Mask of Hydreigon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Now, Dragon Empire does not have a Mask deck of its own, so really you'll only be seeing this in the Griphogila deck. However, it is possible we might see more Mask units in the future. However, from how the new series is panning out with Divine Z, it's not looking like it. We have 4 copies, of course, of the Grade 1 Dragon Tree Wretch Dragobactical. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you Counterblast 1, choose up to 1 of your rearguards without a Dragon Tree marker, and put a Dragon Tree marker on it. That will pretty much be the only effect we'll be using for Dragobactical, as we have no way to trigger the other effect now in this version of the deck. But that's fine. We just need it to generate Dragon Tree markers and for it to be a Hydreigon. One more card is Twin Strike of Duststorm Orlando. The main effect we'll be using is when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks, put this unit into the soul. Choose one of your Vanguards and it gets an extra 5,000 power until the end of turn. We're essentially going to be using this as an early game way, or, well, the only way to get extra soul, so we can have a good final push with Verena Esperidia on the final turn, as Esperidia needs soul, and, let's see, the grade 2 Dragon Tree Wretch also needs soul. So yeah, and since you are reduced to having only one soul after riding into Griphogila, and more than likely you'll Soul Blast that one soul with the grade 2 Dragon Tree Wretch, we need more ways to get more soul. So Orlando is probably the best way to do that. 4 copies of the Dragon Empire Perfect Guard. You cannot use Elementaris Sanctitude in this deck, as your Vanguard goes over grade 3, way over grade 3, as this thing is a grade 11. We've got 4 of the effect criticals. This is another way that you can get soul. You can call this attack, or when no, at the end of the battle that this unit boosted, you put this unit into your soul, and then one of your other units gets an extra 2,000 power until the end of turn. However, most likely, you'll want to keep this in your hand to defend yourself. We've got 3 copies of the Effect Fronts. Again, a great defensive card, especially with how defensive Vartex is on its own. 4 of the non-effect heals. And then 4 of the effect draws. Oh, sorry about that. And of course, that is it for Griphogila Vartex. I hope you enjoyed this video.